Hello and welcome. This is Sal Sumnus here with SS Multimedia. Today, we're going to be talking about modeling the addition and subtraction of mixed numbers.
Alright guys, so now we're going to go over our objective. Okay, and I'm trying a new method with my objective. I've already underlined everything. I'm just going to go ahead and explain it. So step 1 is, of course, reading it, understanding how to model the addition and subtraction of mixed numbers. Okay, we all know what understanding is. And of course, there are thousands of models in the world of math. So the model we're going to be using today are fraction strips. So what that means, if we want to represent 1 and 2/3, 1, 1/3, 1/3. So that would represent 1 and 2/3. And you should all know what the addition and subtraction is, right? Addition and subtraction. And mixed numbers. Another arrow. Move this down a bit here. Okay. And mixed numbers are a mix of whole numbers and fractions. So if you have 1 and 1/4, it's a mixed number because it has a whole number and a fraction. It's mixing the two. 2 and 2/4. Mixed number because it's mixing whole number and fraction. So now we know what we're going to be doing today and what our objective is about. Go ahead and get started. Right, so if you remember from our objective, 2 parts, addition and subtraction. We're going to start off with addition. So let's go ahead and start our example here. So I've written down 1 and 4/8 plus 2 and 7/8. Okay, and if that's not readable because like my handwriting may not be the best, then this part right here is typed already for you. Okay, so I've made a model here. Okay, and what this represents, so the first number is 1 and 4/8. 1 and 4/8 plus 2 and 7/8. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So if we were to write this down, right, vertically, we would do 1 and 4/8 plus 2 and 7/8. Right, so the first thing we would do here was 4/8 plus 7/8. Right, so let's do that with the model. So we have 4/8 plus 7/8. Okay, so with eighths, what equals 1 whole? Right, so how many eighths equals 1 whole? 8. So we're going to count to 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we know that this is lined up perfectly, almost perfectly, right? So if this is 4, this is also 4, right? And if you want, you can check, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And you know that 4 plus 4 equals 8. So this part right here is 1 whole, okay? How much is left over? We get 1, 2, and 3, right? So what we're doing here, we're regrouping. So we have 3 left over, so that's 3/8, and then we have 8 here, and 8/8 equals 1 whole, right? So this 8 equals 8/8, okay? And what that equals is 1 whole. So I'm gonna go ahead and regroup. So what we did there, we regrouped and added those 2 numbers using our model, right? And now we're going to do the second part, which is 1 plus 2, right? So this 8 we have here, we're going to cross all that out, okay? And we're going to convert that to 1 whole, because that's what regrouping is. And now we're going to do this part, 1 plus 1 plus 2. And this should be relatively easy. 1, 2, 3, and 4, so this part equals 4. So your answer should be, write that down nice and big, 4 and 3/8. And how do we get that? We use our model. Okay, so if you want, you can pause the video here and look at what we did in correlation to our equation and see how we modeled the problem. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to the second part, which is subtraction. So I have another example ready here. Okay, whoops. I'm going to erase that one little bit there. Okay, now let's go ahead and get started. So we have our model here, right? We have the ones there, and we have the ninths. Okay, and our problem, we write that down nice and big. 8 and 7 ninths minus 5 and 5 ninths. Okay, so let's do this. So the first one, I'm just going to write that down like last time. This is 8, right? And 7 ninths minus, let me get blue here, 5 and 5 ninths. Now let's solve. So if we were to write this down, we would do 8 and 7 ninths. Okay, let me go down. Minus 5 and 5 ninths. So the first step we have to do is 7 ninths minus 5 ninths. Okay, how we would do that, we just cross out one after the other. Okay? So you do 1, 1. You just keep doing this till the lesser number is all crossed out. So the lesser number here is 5. So we're just going to cross all that out. So just going to keep doing this process until everything is crossed out. So see how all the 5s are crossed out? And we've crossed out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we did here, we just did 7 minus 5. Okay? So, of course, this would be better if this was lined up perfectly. So, another way we could have done this, let me erase all that there. Okay, there's 2 ways you could have done this. Since this is lined up perfectly, what you can do, you can just do this. Just do that. Cross out one at a time like that. Okay, and then you see that there are these ones left. Right, so that's the second way you could do that. And we have 2 1/9ths. 2 1/9ths equal to 2 9ths. So there's no regrouping involved here because of subtraction. 2 9ths. Now let's do the second part. We have 8 minus 5. Same process, okay? Except the second way won't work here because it's not lined up perfectly. Okay, so if you want the second way to work, line it up perfectly, you'll be okay. Okay, so let's do this. We have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and you don't have to say 1. I'm just saying 1 to keep me sane here because I'm doing this a lot. There you go. Now you have 1, 2, and 3 left, and 3 1s equals 3 wholes. 3 wholes. So what we did there, we did 8 minus 5. And the reason I didn't line this one up, so you can see both the ways that we could do this. So again, if you want to pause the video and see what we did with the model, the 2 ways in correlation to what we did here. Okay, now let's go to problem time. Okay, so today's problem time is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to write down the answer. I'm not going to draw the model because that'll take too long for me. You guys can write down the model and get the answer. And if your answer was correct, then that means your model was also probably correct. So I want you to pause the video and give it a go. So I'm assuming that you've paused it and tried it out for yourself. Now we're going to check your answers. Okay? So 2 3/4 plus 5 1/4 equals 8. Okay? Then 8 9/10, sorry, minus 4 4/10 equals 4 5/10. That was too small. Sorry. Let me erase that. Let's make that nice and big. Equals 4. The different color, that's okay. 4 5/10, or 4 1/2. You could have gotten both of those answers. Right, this one if you simplified. Now, finally, we have, let's use green now, 4 2/7. Let me bring it down. 4 2/7 plus 13 4/7, which equals 17 6/7. Okay, so all the answers here. Number 1 is 8. Number 2 is 4 5/10, or 4 1/2. And for this one, you get 1/2 point if you did 4 5/10, and you get 1 point if you did 4 1/2. Okay, it's always better to simplify. And last is 17 6/7. sevenths. Okay, so those are the answers for problem time. I hope you got all of them right, and I hope you learned something in this video. Speaking of that, thank you for watching it.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure to hit the notification bell. See you in the next one.